Welcome to the very first episode of the Bad News Jules show. The theme of this one is definitely delays in Fortnite, because one of Bethesda's most anticipated games coming out, Starfield, will now be released on September 6th. Starfield, a big upcoming title from Microsoft-owned Bethesda, is getting a new release date. Starfield has been delayed to the first half of 2023 and will now arrive even later on September 6th. Starfield was originally set to launch on November 11, 2022, which would have paid homage to the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim's release date on 11/11/11. If you don't know what Starfield is, my grasp of it is that it's going to be sort of like a space adventure where you take the role of explorers. Todd Howard himself described the game as Skyrim in space, and the RPG will be playable in both first and third person. But primarily it's going to be in first person. The reason behind this delay is further polish to the experience, which is understandable. If you've played any Bethesda games in the past, you know they're known for Bethesda bugs. Even when the game's released, usually Bethesda games are kind of full of bugs. Skyrim to this day is still full of bugs. I can only imagine the level of polish that needs to go into it. From what I have seen from Todd Howard himself and any other news report I've seen about this game, it's going to be bigger than any Bethesda game imaginable. I think I saw somewhere where there's going to be 1,000 planets at launch. So I can only imagine the level of polishing and debugging that needs to go into this game for it to fully work. Or else it might be like Cyberpunk, where it's very buggy on launch and people are just going to be disappointed and just expect anything with a giant world to just be buggy on release. And I don't think people want that to happen. I don't see anyone really minding the delays. I'm usually one that doesn't matter if a game gets delayed. I would much rather a game get delayed and have it be good on launch than, here, we'll release it now, and then it's just a buggy mess, and we'll fix it later. And later could be so far down the line. Now, it's not impossible for a game to release buggy and stay bad. No Man's Sky had a very terrible launch, and now is a pretty good game from what I've heard so far, and Cyberpunk has definitely gotten better as the bugs have been fixed. But I think as a general gaming consensus, we would rather have the game work on launch than wait an additional couple years for the game to work. But speaking of delays, let's go down to our superhero correspondent, Jason, to talk about another delay.
This week, we've received the newest L to the collection that Rocksteady's Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League seems to be amassing very quickly. On Thursday, March 9th, we have a tweet from Jason Schreier from Bloomberg saying, "News. Warner Brothers and Rocksteady have delayed Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League once again from May to later this year, according to a person familiar. A showcase of the game during a PlayStation stream last month was poorly received by fans." And this is especially painful for people who were anticipating the May release, because almost a year ago, Sefton Hill from Rocksteady said, "We've made the difficult decision to delay Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League to spring 2023. And of course, when things like this happen, there's always a bunch of speculation as to why there was a delay, and especially off the heels of the state of play, where the gameplay did not look that great, even in my opinion. The variety of gameplay and the hook didn't really seem like it was there. I think Jason Schreier makes some good points as to what may have contributed to the delay. Maybe not the core reasons, but it definitely something that Rocksteady's probably thinking about. In his next tweet, he says, "This delay moves Suicide Squad out of a crowded release window that currently includes new Zelda, Diablo, and Final Fantasy games." If we go over to Game Informer's release calendar, we can take a look at just a few of the major hitters coming out around that original May timeframe, of Star Wars Jedi Survivor coming out a month earlier, Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, one of the biggest games of this year, coming out 2 weeks before. And knowing Breath of the Wild and the success that had, people are still going to be thinking about, talking about, and playing Tears of the Kingdom 2 weeks after its release. And then right off of the heels of Suicide Squad, we have Street Fighter 6 and Diablo 4, and then later in June, we have Final Fantasy 16. So with public reception as it is right now, if you're someone like me who plays a bunch of video games, there's just really no space in our life and our wallet to get Suicide Squad when all these other games that we're still pumped for are coming out, and Suicide Squad's a little bit more middling, if not worse than that. And while people like me would love for them to address gameplay with this delay, we need to keep in mind Jason's next tweet. For what it's worth, a delay like this is mainly for polish, not to overhaul the core gameplay that caused a backlash. Suicide Squad started off as a games as a service and will remain one short of a complete reboot, which will require a much longer delay. Which is pretty understandable because game development takes time. And if they really are still shooting for later this year, then they are probably not going to change anything major. But for people like me who don't really mind the games as a service if implemented well and really want the gameplay loop to be better, maybe there's still a little bit of room to change some things about the gameplay that I didn't like. Although I don't really expect shoot the purple thing and everybody having the same weapon arsenal to really change that much. But overall, I see this delay as nothing but positive news because we've seen so many times over the past couple of years that companies are getting very, very comfortable with releasing games before they're ready to go. And that's not what we want from Rocksteady at all. It's been 8 years since we've gotten Arkham Knight, and we've been patiently waiting to see what Rocksteady would do next. And especially knowing that this takes place in the Arkhamverse, we really don't want it to fail. So let's cross our fingers, our toes, and whatever else we can that this game is good when we eventually get it.
Thank you for that update, Jason. I appreciate it. Now we're moving on to the biggest video game of all time, Fortnite! Do you guys like Fortnite? Do you live, breathe, and die Fortnite? Well, boy, do I have the news for you Fortnite fanatics. If you can't tell, I don't really play Fortnite, but there's a lot of Fortnite news. Okay, so the first piece of Fortnite news is that, unfortunately, if you're still playing it on Windows 7 and 8, you can no longer play Fortnite. This new season has added a huge POI named Mega City and made significant changes to the map that require a lot from certain computers. As Epic Games has previously disclosed, some changes would have to be made regarding support for legacy operating systems. This means that gamers that use Windows 7 and Windows 8 on their computer will no longer be able to play Fortnite, as the game no longer supports older operating systems. I think at this point, most people are on Windows 10 and Windows 11, so I don't think this is a massive issue, but RIP those gamers that are still using Windows 7 and Windows 8. However, some more positive news. There seems to be some new updates coming to Fortnite. If you're a big fan of Resident Evil, a Fortnite leaker revealed a potential collab by posting a screenshot that features two of the most iconic characters from the Resident Evil franchise. Twitter user SheenaBR, who's a well-known Fortnite content leaker, has posted an online picture of what seems to be the latest Resident Evil characters who will soon join the Battle Royale island: Claire Redfield and Leon Kennedy. These skins seem to resemble their appearance from Resident Evil 2. That's definitely Claire from Resident Evil 2. I don't know why they chose the most generic looking skin for Leon. I would have thought it would have been the cop uniform, or maybe since Resident Evil 4 is coming out, they would have done like the jacket. I have been playing through the games, but I would have probably preferred, if I did get into Fortnite, that it was like the cop skin or the Resident Evil 4 outfit. However, that's not it when it comes to Fortnite content that's coming. Attack on Titan's Eren Yeager reels into Fortnite during Chapter 4 Season 2. It was leaked days prior by the same Fortnite leaker who leaked the Resident Evil skins. So if you're a huge fan of Attack on Titan, you will be getting an Eren Yeager skin in it. Fortnite has done anime collabs in the past, like the most well-known is probably the Dragon Ball collab, because Attack on Titan's anime is finally ending soon, that they'll be getting Attack on Titan content in Fortnite. While Fortnite is prospering, Square Enix doesn't seem to be having the same fate. With the sudden but unsurprising liquidation of Babylon's Fall, the disappointing sales of Forspoken, and ending the service to Marvel's Avengers, Square Enix has been experiencing a lot of failure lately. It's gone on some hard times, and what they're going forward with in the future might not be helping. Square Enix CEO Yosuke Matsuda has suggested that the upcoming fiscal year will see multiple blockchain games released by the publisher, as well as for the foreseeable future. It is in continuation of Square Enix's foray into the world of Web 3.0 technologies, despite gamers' insistence that the play-to-earn model is the last form of monetization that they want. With the collapse of crypto and the decline in NFTs, I don't think this is the right step for Square Enix. Square Enix just seems to be throwing anything that they can at the wall and hoping that it sticks. and hoping that gamers will be super into anything that they put out like they used to back in the 90s. I'm sure whenever Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2 comes out, things will look up for Square Enix, but who knows when that game is coming out, and they definitely need something to keep the fans invested in their games. Because right now, they have been taking L after L after L with whatever they have been putting out. Nothing is really working. Forspoken was kind of debated amongst people, whether it was a good game or not, whether the main character was annoying, whatever on Twitter. By the look of the sales, it isn't really resonating with gamers, and now with their complete failures for live service games, I think Square Enix either just needs to go back to the drawing board and try something completely new, or tap into the well of beloved franchises from the past and get an easy W there. And we're gonna end it on another negative note. This is the bad news Joel's show. Outer Worlds is kind of in some hot water at the moment. Recently, the well-received game Outer Worlds released a new edition titled the Spacer's Choice Edition. However, the new edition has mostly negative Steam reviews, with numerous players complaining of performance issues not present in the original. Let me pull up some reviews to show you. You've tried the best, now try the rest. Spacer's Choice. Gotta say, there is something ironic about deciding to name this version after an in-game company whose products are known to be faulty and subpar, only for the version itself to be faulty and subpar. I was able to get a decently good experience by playing around with the settings, but it took time/experimentation, and even then, I'm still encountering visual/texture glitches in the starting area. Honestly, you should consider waiting for it to be fixed or just get the normal version. I'm going to keep trying to play it for now, but only because I've encountered no game-breaking glitches, and I've beaten it once before on the Epic Store. Performance is terrible. I don't know what they did to make it so bad. For someone with an RTX 3080 and AMD 5950X with 32 gigabytes of the tightest timing, 3800 megahertz RAM for AMD Ryzen, it may not be the newest machine, but certainly no slouch either, and this game runs like complete ass. Constant dips to like 15 to 20 FPS at 1080p, even if the average is closer to around 60 in total. Personally, I'm very happy with my purchase of this, as it got me back into the game I love with some notable improvements that my good PC hardware can take advantage of. That said, this remaster doesn't do much besides the new lighting and weather engine. This is basically just a $60 ENB. I only bit down because they reduced it to $10 for people that had the previous game and its DLC. I don't think it's a good value package. Just get the original game and don't bother with this one if you don't need it. Pretty significant performance reductions for what amounts to a Game of the Year version for new players and a paid for patch for people that owned everything up until now. At $10, this isn't worth it. The updated visuals aren't noticeable or striking, and the performance cost is 30% or more than on an RTX 3090. My machine meets the minimum requirements recommended for this game, so I did not go into it expecting top-tier graphics and performance. I was able to reach 60 FPS after fiddling with the settings, but after reaching Monarch, that tanked heavily. They changed the lighting in the game drastically. Reflection on the eyes for the characters is a little much now, to the point it's painful. Even outside of the performance, the game is heavily unrefined. Many rocks I can just walk right through. Grass that should be see-through for sneak mechanics are not implemented for some of them, and NPC's movements are clunkier than in the original game. An NPC for one of the main quests in Edgewater was not even in the right spot for one point of the quest, but the cutscene still triggers in the right room. I almost got killed by a marauder that spawned in a rock as it could shoot through it, and I could not. It is an experience. Long story short, it is not worth it. Get the original until this is fixed, if ever. If you want levels uncapped, just get a mod. So right now, this version is $47.99 on Steam, regularly $60. I genuinely loved the Outer Worlds, but those who have played the game and just want to upgrade it, is $10 only to upgrade it, but it seems like that is not worth it. There was an update regarding someone from player support on Reddit. The Outer Worlds Spacer's Choice Edition bug reporting. I am sorry that you all have been experiencing performance issues with the Outer Worlds Spacer's Choice Edition. I understand how frustrating this can be, but I can assure you the team at Private Division is working on getting a patch out as soon as possible. When we have more information about the patch, we will sure to let folks know. If you run into any other issues while playing the game, please feel free to submit a support ticket to Private Division. They are the dedicated support for the Outer Worlds, and we're doing our best to funnel all the information to them so they can find solutions as quick as possible. Thanks for your patience and understanding. And that will do it for this week in the Bad News Jules show. Let me know all of your thoughts down in the comments. Did I miss any important news? What else you would like to further touch upon in the comments? I literally read every single comment and I try to respond and get back to and have a discussion with you all in the comments. If you want to take a further discussion, feel free to join the Discord. I will make a news section in the Discord to talk about news, and you can send me stuff you want me to talk about next week in the Discord. Thank you all for watching. I really appreciate it. If you did like this video, give it a big thumbs up. It helps me out a lot. And if you want to see more of these news updates or even anime content, I have a lot of that on this channel, feel free to hit that subscribe button down below, and I will see you for the next video.